Laura Friedman is a Democratic member of the House from California's 30th District, which includes right here in Burbank. Congresswoman, welcome to The Story Is for the first time, and we're grateful to be broadcasting from your district. Sad news, we heard about this anti-Semitic incident, one of many that we have seen. We have seen different instances where the homeland has been targeted since this war in Iran began. Has Congress been briefed at all about the security threats happening in America now?
Not that I'm aware of. And several of us in Los Angeles have asked to be briefed because we heard this vague announcement from the FBI that there's threats of drone attacks from Iran against California. So the FBI put that out into the public, didn't brief Congress, and now is sort of walking it all back. So there's a lot of chaos going on right now coming out of the White House between what's happening in Iran, what's maybe happening in Venezuela. The president's now talking about maybe Cuba. And meanwhile, people at home feel less safe, not more safe.
Of course, Republicans say all the more reason that we should be funding DHS, and it's time to stop this grandstanding when ICE is already funded to begin with. Why keep this thing going?
Well, look, ICE and Border Patrol, through the Republican bill that passed last year, are funded beyond any funding they've ever had in the past. They are funded more than the United States Marines. So think about that. So they have plenty of funding, but at a time when we're going after taco sellers and daycare workers, we should be guarding the homeland. And they are not going after people who present a threat in this country. We know that the vast majority of ICE targets are random immigrants, many of whom are going through the process of becoming naturalized or having their cases adjudicated. So the focus is not on the right place.
Well, let's talk about what's going on in Iran. One video that got a lot of attention today is an AI-created video from the official White House account of the United States government. Let's play this. Where it shows the war in Iran as a Wii video game and shows back and forth images of fake video game and actual strikes, some of which, may kill people. This is the official video that the United States is putting out for the entire world. What goes through your mind when you watch that?
I'm embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed by that as an American and as someone who works in politics in Washington and represents a constituency. These are deeply unserious people who are controlling the deadliest fighting force on the planet. And that should be something that concerns all of us right now. We have 7 U.S. service members who are dead because of the war in Iran. And just yesterday, President Trump called this a little excursion. He said, this is nothing. This is a little excursion. It's not nothing to the families of the tragically killed service members.
And you got to think, what do those family members think when they see that?
Yeah.
They're planning funerals for their family members, and they see this treated like a joke video game?
Right.
It's
not a joke. It's not a game. This is war. You just had a clip-on of a 16-year-old who lost his family in Lebanon. Civilians all over the Middle East are watching tensions escalate and violence escalate. And at the same time, this administration has given us no roadmap to stability or peace in Iran or anywhere else in the Middle East where we now see tensions increasing. Other countries are being dragged into this war. We don't know what success looks like. We don't know what the off-ramp is. We don't even know what the goals of the Trump administration are. They have been flip-flopping on why we are even bombing Iran right now. Just a few months ago, they told us that they had complete success in wiping out any nuclear capability of Iran, and yet we're bombing again.
But
why?
We know that Iran has been a state sponsor of terror. We know that they have funded proxies throughout the Middle East that have destabilized the region. We know in the past that they have attacked Americans, including the hostage situation back in the 70s, to the USS Cole, to other things. I mean, isn't the world safer if the Iran Ayatollah regime is not in place?
There is no one I've heard in government on any side of the aisle that is trying to justify or say anything about Iran that's positive. We know that Iran is a state sponsor of terror. We know that they're terrible to their own people. However, we have not heard from the administration why there was such an imminent threat from Iran that they had to bomb without presenting their case to Congress. We are now at war. We don't exactly know why at that particular moment they chose to bomb. We don't know if there is a plan to stabilize the region. And we also do know that Iran is a sophisticated enemy. They're a large country. They are very well armed. They're very well organized. The idea that this is Venezuela, where you're going to go in and drop a few bombs and things are going to change, is not in this case. And what I am afraid of is this spiraling out of control and us ending in another forever war at the same time when our economy is tanking, gas prices are spiking. And is this making us any safer? Is this making the world any safer? We don't know.
Quickly, while I have you, we are in Hollywood right now.
That's right.
This is your district. You literally represent Hollywood. You represent us here in Burbank, where we have the Warner Brothers studios, there's Universal Studios, there's Disney, there's all the rest of it. It's Oscar week. People are focused on this town, on this issue. There's a lot of concern about Hollywood leaving Hollywood, or Hollywood's already left Hollywood. Real quickly, what are you doing about that?
So I have been working on a national film tax credit because we are losing our film industry to overseas productions. And the reason is because other countries see the benefit of this industry. This industry employs over 100,000 people across the United States, and it's a driver of the economy right here in Los Angeles. It provides good jobs that are aspirational, and just as importantly, it's allowed the United States to tell their story to the rest of the world for generations.
Are there votes for that?
You know something? We've been having really productive talks across the aisle because filming isn't just in Los Angeles. Filming is in Georgia. Filming is in New Jersey. Filming is in Texas. Filming is in Florida. And those representatives of those states know how important this industry is economically.
Does Sinners win the Oscar?
I'm rooting for Sinners.
Okay. Congresswoman, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Great
Thanks for having me.
In your district.